develop an athlete, right? We're saying, I want my horse to be stronger. Stretching is part of building strength. So from the stretch then, I want this horse to lift at the base of the neck. Your riding instructor would totally scream at you for this, right? Reaching those hands way up there. Unless they were a saddle seat instructor. If I bring him to the center and ask him to stop, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing here that we did from the ground. I'm going to lift there, the base of the neck. If you're riding your horse, you'll feel this as a lift in the withers. I'm going to ask him just to slightly lift the base of the neck. Again, we see in this horse right now where he happens to be, the head and neck comes slightly with that. It doesn't have to be. That horse will learn to kind of draw your shoulders back, right? You can draw your shoulders back without going hollow and upright in your head. That's where he is right now. He'll learn that eventually through time. You notice he was a lot lighter when I was on the ground than he is underside. Right? He's leaning into my hand, but we want it to be light. So I'm going to simply wait for him. I'm going to say, hey, this is yours. You control the pressure, but I control the parameters. So if you lean into the pressure is going to be there. If you soften the pressure goes away. There. So I wanted to lift. And again, first thing he wants to do is dive down there. Dive down into that hand. When the horse softens to your hand, that's when we lower those hands. That's when your riding instructor is happy. Right? I'm going to ask him to flex across to the left, trying to limit the bend. Okay, we said your outside rein limits the bend. If he were to try to overbend, the outside rein is going to catch him and say, no, don't go there. So you can see the difference in my hand positions. There. And now we'll ride forward and stretch. You can see the difference in my hand positions there. The inside hand asking for flexion, the outside hand asking him to maintain his balance. Okay. Now let's go back and talk for a moment about those balancing legs. The inside hind leg and the outside foreleg are the legs we said are the primary balancers for our horse. Yes? We talk about bending the horse around, again, going back to the kindergarten idea of needing the one rein stop. And please don't think I'm downplaying the kindergarten idea. That's the most important thing. If you live the rest of your life with your horse in kindergarten, you'll be all right. Okay? You'll live through it. You try to skip kindergarten and go right to this other stuff, you might not live through that. You might not be able to tell your friends about it. Okay? But going back to the idea of that kindergarten thought of bending the horse to move the haunches around. When we bend this horse, you see how he's bearing more weight then on this inside shoulder as he steps around. Okay? When we talk about, say, a turn on the forehand, and we ask that horse to bend through the inside rein to step the hindquarters over, where's his weight going? To the inside shoulder. Okay. If I want this horse to give me that turn on the forehand, I'm going to just lift my hands here in relation to his head and neck. I'm going to wait for him to feel back to my seat. I said, wait for him to feel back to my seat. And wait. Right. And he'll get it figured out. There. If I wanted to do a turn on the forehand, we think about the balancing legs, right? I would like the balancing leg to remain the same. So if I'm going to turn on the forehand left, I want this outside shoulder to be the balancing shoulder. So it's the outside rein cage that helps to set that. Softening to my hand, ask with my leg, and you'll see him get to a spot right here. He's wavering. You see him go from inside shoulder to outside shoulder? He's not sure about it. There's the outside shoulder doing more. There's the inside shoulder thing. There's the outside shoulder. See how he wavers it? Okay. To me, this is the perfect horse for you to see because he's showing likely what your horse at home might show. Okay? If he's unsure about these things, I'll ask him again to step across. Yeah. Outside shoulder bearing more weight, and then we'll walk off. Good man. A horse develops habits in his body just like you and I develop habits in our body. It's important that we take the time to help educate him. Anytime his head dips down too low, and you see him, he has a tendency to come behind the hand, behind the vertical. Anytime he wants to dip behind the vertical, you'll see me lifting the reins, asking him to lift the base of his neck from the corners of his lips. We see horses oftentimes that come behind the hand, behind the vertical, and the riders continue pulling. If I were to let him go there, because I know he will, so he's considering, if I were to just be pulling back here, where am I pulling on his mouth? I'm pulling on the bars of his mouth, right? The only place he can respond then is by coming even more behind the hand. So when you have a horse that habitually wants to come behind the hand, behind the vertical, you need to lift that neck, lift the base. You need to touch the corners of his mouth and say, come up here, stand up straight, right? Again, when the horse starts to lift in the base of the neck, you'll feel it as a rider by feeling the withers rise. They felt back to my seat a little better right there. Until that's on. I'm going to ask him now in movement to flex to the inside up to 90 degrees. I want to be able to do this without his balance being impeded. Again, you'll see there. Again, you'll see outside hand is ready to rebalance the pole. I don't want my horse to tilt at the pole. As soon as he does, his connection from the head to the neck is skewed, is twisted, right? And I have a chiropractor friend over here in the audience that will tell you that that's probably no good for a horse or a person. Particularly to be working in that position, to be asked to do athletic things. So you'll see me quite often here lifting my hands pretty high and lowering my hands in an exaggerated way. Am I saying this is how I would ride this horse at home? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. I'm trying to give a little bit of exaggeration here for illustration, so you can see exactly where we're going with this. All right. So you can see clearly when I'm making things, when I'm making a correction, versus when I'm giving a release. Depending on how the horse is that I'm riding, I may have to do more than this. Right? I lift and ask for flexion. Now my inside leg here is going to have to talk to the shoulder to say, no, keep your shoulders straight. Keep yourself balanced. Because the horse's tendency is going to be to, we hope, follow their nose. Right? So he wants to circle to the inside. So my inside leg needs to say, no, keep the shoulders out here. Lift and flex. So you see, as he starts to get more confident with this, he's going to get more steady in his steps. If you're asking your horse to do this, and he gets hesitant in his steps, that's telling you he's bracing in the body, he's not confident with the idea, and he needs a bit more work and a bit slower work. You see right here how he's starting to get this idea, and he's stepping a lot more confidently forward. The hind leg is reaching a bit farther forward.